We're getting you, as I said, ground zero updates from across America. My colleagues spread across in New York, in Washington, D.C., telling you how and what really matters in this election. But first up, let's get in Allister, who joins us live to give us a sense from Washington, D.C., to get us a sense of what this election means when it comes to the black voter. Remember, we say that in India, race and ethnicity and caste matters. Well, that's exactly what matters in this U.S. election as well. Allister, tell us how crucial is the black voter? You are at Harvard University, Kamala Harris's alma mater. Talk to us about this very crucial vote base of the blacks.
Absolutely, Gauri. Extremely important, the black vote. And like you said, I'm at Howard University. It's a historically black university. It's a university from which Kamala Harris graduated in 1986. I have with us some students from Howard. We're going to speak to them currently. They're current students. They're quite excited to be talking to us. And like I was saying, Kamala Harris has had a long association with Howard, not just graduating from here, but keeping her ties really with Howard ever since she graduated in 2019. She made her first presidential bid from here. Then, of course, closer to that, she also had her debate prep with for Donald Trump. She had that here. And of course, the big thing happening on Tuesday night, Kamala Harris has chosen Howard University on the day when the election results come in to have herself stationed here. Pretty exciting, do you think?
Yes, it's very exciting. I'm looking forward to it. Although we won't be able to access the campus, I think it's a very historical time and very significant to our community.
Very significant, exciting, but a bit nervous for Kamala Harris, would you say?
Yeah, 100%. Definitely feeling a little bit anxious here because we don't know the results of the election yet. And then also there are safety concerns with Kamala being on campus within such a relatively short time frame of letting the students know. So definitely something we'll be looking out for.
All right. So, Malik, you've been following this. And by the way, these are all political science students mostly. Malik, you've been following this. There are several policies of Kamala Harris that you perhaps do like. Is there anything that you are critical of in terms of what she brings to the table?
I find it really difficult to be critical when everything's such a step forward. When, for example, the policies of giving small businesses, right, their ability to have a strong foundational, just build somewhere to build up from. It's such a step forward that I'm not looking to criticize progress. I'm looking to be accepting and interested in what's going to push us forward and not keep us stagnant or push us back.
All right, Evan, you are a young black voter. There are concerns that a lot of young black voters are not coming out as strongly to vote for Kamala Harris as one would imagine. Why do you think that's the case?
I don't actually believe that to be what we should be focusing on in this election. I think that young black voters will turn out. I think what we should be focusing on is demographics that tend to not show up. So white women specifically, who half and half end up voting for Democrats and Republicans, right? And so I think instead of hyper-focusing on the black community and what we're doing, I think it's important to make sure that we're focusing our energy towards other communities too, to make sure that they're voting as well.
Leo, do you agree with that? Because you do have a lot of black women, a lot of white women supporting Kamala Harris, but when it comes to young black men, that doesn't quite seem to be adding up. At least that's what the reports are telling us.
Okay, yes, I fully agree with that. I think we should kind of take this focus off of black men not supporting Kamala, because I think we're getting a lot of things coming from the internet, and the average black person or the average black man is not saying these things. I think Evan said, we should look at white women. If we look at the previous election with Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, white women were the reason why Hillary did not win. So I think if we focus on those marginalized, those other groups, then instead of looking at the black community and try to force this narrative that oh, we're kind of rippled, then I think we would get a better response and kind of follow up with what's really going to go on. Also, I think another thing is the polls. We should realize that polls don't actually really tell us who votes. There's a lot of things with polls, like polls might focus, like you said, on black men or black women, but like what about Asian Americans that are not included in the polls? What about Latino community that's not that's not being a part of the polls? So I think we should kind of like take our minds off of the polls, because at the end of the day, it all boils down to who's showing up on election day or early voting.
Are you guys ready to talk about Donald Trump now?
Sure.
All right, lots of dark language, lots of vile language. Personally, how has that felt for you? Have you felt any kind of backlash on campus, perhaps, Malik?
No, I haven't felt backlash on campus. Of course, we're all very passionate here. But I think one thing that I see a lot of people able to do is separate emotion from fact. And a lot of people like to judge people on their words, if they're flamboyant or not. But you can also judge people by how they surround themselves. And the fact that Kamala is going to come here to surround herself with this community, the one that supported her and was her alma mater, that tells us a lot. The fact that she's devoted her life to civil service, and Donald Trump has devoted himself to a life of business. It makes you think that if he surrounds himself with business, maybe to us we're just business.
So, Evan, what about you? Yes, of course, no backlash perhaps on campus because the majority of students here are black, but just up and about in the city, just maybe even traveling across the U.S., is there a sense of kind of unease that you kind of have felt in the last little while in the lead up to the elections?
Like a sense of uneasiness related to what exactly? Could you be more specific?
In terms of, just being up and about in the city, any kind of discrimination, do you think people are more uptight? What's the sense you're getting?
I definitely wouldn't feel that here in DC, specifically because this is a very diverse city full of lots of different people. And so I haven't necessarily felt discriminated against for my political opinions. I think if anything, what we've seen in DC is a large community of people that are both supportive of Kamala Harris, but also critical of Kamala Harris with the way that she handles policies related to the Middle East. I think it's very important to not leave that out of the conversation and to ensure that she knows that just because there are black voters that are excited to see someone from their alma mater in those positions, we also can't leave out the fact that she does need to institute an arms embargo, she does need to call for a ceasefire, and she does need to actually support Middle Eastern and Arab American voters.
Alela, I see you vigorously nodding.
Yes. Like Evan said, we can't fully speak for others about how they feel. I don't feel uneasy. I don't feel like I'm being discriminated against for my political views. I also just feel like if anyone feels uneasy, as a black person in America, we feel uneasy any other day. Like that's a normal thing given the historical context of this country and how we were brought here. So I don't think that's just like because of this election, that's how we feel. I'm uneasy every day. I'm a black woman in America. Like, there's policies against me right now that are controlling what I can do with my body. But as Evan said, I think we need to focus on holding her accountable. Like he said, she is a Howard alum. That is a beautiful thing. She is a black woman. But however, we have to focus on accountability, whether it's Trump or if it's Kamala or whoever the case it may be, because these are the people that are representing us, and we're supposed to amplify our voices.
Okay, there's a frenzy of activity on campus. Just saw some of it with a lot of construction, getting ready with the stage. Kamala Harris is going to be here on November 5th. What's the plan for you? Are you going to be here?
Like I said, we can't be here because security issues, so I will be at home watching, the accounts come in.
What about you guys? Any luck?
So unfortunately, I'm also not going to be on campus just because all of our campuses, or most of our classes have been moved online just for safety concerns with so much going on around the election. But I do plan to have an election night party, watch party with my friends. So.
And Malik, maybe come here, catch a glimpse from the outside, perhaps, of Kamala Harris?
I'll probably be here to the last minute. I think it's history, and I wouldn't want to miss it for the world.
So you're going to stake out from the outside?
As long as I can, but I think I'll be waiting in the wings maybe in the house with my family on the phone, come time.
Great, thank you so much, guys. That, of course, are students here from Howard University, Malik, Evan, and Layla. Thank you for joining us here on NDTV World.
Thanks for that very engaging conversation, Allister.